Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report. Today for you we have a big 20 threat match between the Dark Dimension and also the Uncanny X-Men on the table layout that you can see before you. Got a lot to cover today, so let's look at the team so we can get started. So here is Dormammu and his thralls for today in the 20 threat worth of Dark Dimension. Obviously being led by the man himself, a massive 8 threat. And he has to be the leader. He'll be giving everyone extra power, but also potentially hurting them if they generate a little bit too much power. So we'll see about that. He's joined by his daughter Clea, who I may call Cleo by accident, apologies in advance. Then we also have the Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Moon Knight. And their tactics cards, a little bit reflective. Dark Empowerment, Dark Restoration, Medpack, Brace for Impact, and Reversal. And here is our Uncanny X-Men team, a little bit of a variance on the last time they were on the table, just subtly different, bringing Storm instead of Cyclops, and that was able to bring Jean Grey in as well as a result. So Storm is the leader, providing cover, although it won't be super relevant because one of the objectives played today is also providing cover consistently, so not as important, at least that part of our leadership. Jean Grey is here as stated, and then joining them are Rogue, Colossus, and Wolverine, and their tactics cards down here, also a little bit too reflective. Fastball, Special, Children of the Atom, Mental Domination, Exceptional Healing, and Pardon Me, Sugar. Here is the two crisis cards being played. The 19 threat extraction is Deadly Legacy Virus Cured. Remember that this has been a rad. You do not do map style E, you do map style C, I think it is. So you're going long ways rather than up and down ways compared to where your deployment zones are. 1 victory point for each legacy cure held. If anyone ever holds 3 of them, they die, but you gain 8 victory points. So it's a chance to swing things in your favour massively later in the game. Is it 8 you get? Yeah, 8. 8 if you have all 3. That's why they changed the deployment type, because it was too easy to grab 2 first turn with certain characters. And the threat value being played is the secure 20 threat. Super powered scoundrels form sinister syndicates from the Juggernaut box. 5 ambush tokens, map F. 1 victory point for each one secured during the cleanup phase. Anyone who is contesting one of the ambush tokens counts as having cover from anyone not contesting that is attacking them. We can have a little look here. So the legacy viruses in a line over there, and then we have the ambush tokens, one in the center as well, one there and one there. So we are all set up and good to go. The Uncanny X-Men are to your left and the Dark Dimension are on your right, and it is the Dark Dimension who will be taking first activation. Both sides have 5 miniatures, so no passes. We can take a look specifically. Iron Fist and Clea are down here. Dormammu, centre of the table as he often is, just going to plough down there and do lots of damage. And then Luke Cage and Moon Knight over here. We come around this side, a little bit awkward to see, but Jean Grey and Rogue are there. Storm is in the doorway of that destroyed church. And then over here we have Colossus and Wolverine together, probably for that fastball special later on. So with that, let's jump into Battle Round 1 and see how this plays out. So it was Moon Knight who got the game started for the Dark Dimension, and he ended up just double moving twice on top of the car there for cover, because of the weird way cover works in this game, in order to get within one of the legacy virus that was there and ping one to pick it up. He got a hit for his multiple personalities, which isn't going to be relevant this turn. It would have given him a couple of extra dice in his attack, but he had to double move to get the virus. And he was hoping for the extra move, which I think is on a wild maybe, which would have let him walk back towards that as well, which would have been the perfect turn, but oh well. Sticking over the awkward end of the table to start with for the Uncanny X-Men, Jean Grey activated move forwards medium in order to claim that ambush token there, and then used her Psybolt on Moon Knight. Range 4, but you have to be within range 3 to see him because he has stealth, but she was just within range 3. And he almost got one shot. He's got 5 health on his healthy side. He took 4 damage, and that was with cover. Cover saved him there. So he's now only got 1 health, and that does mean he's generated a lot of power. It also means that Dormammu has 1 more power as well, but he's very close to just dropping that cure he just picked up. Well, in order to act on Moon Knight getting hurt, Luke Cage activated moved medium and repositioned himself with a second medium move on the far side of the ambush token there, making sure he was within 3 of Moon Knight to spend 2 to heal him for 3 with Medpack, and Luke Cage had 2 power because Dormammu gives everyone 1 extra power in the power phase. So spend 2, heal 3 on yourself or an allied within 3, and he did that, so Moon Knight's back to just having 1 damage on him. Storm was next up for the Uncanny X-Men, although first just wanted to cover on camera Since some people might ask, like, why didn't Jean then, after attacking Moon Knight, pick up the car he's standing on and chuck it at him? He has enough power to use Brace for Impact, so he would have survived. It might have been worth doing it to make that card get burned in turn 1 as well, like Medpack did. Too late to go back now, but it felt like he was just going to Brace for Impact, so it felt like a waste. And Jean saving up power for her big telekinetic crush, or whatever it's called, telekinetic force, seemed like a better idea. But anyway, Storm just medium moved twice from where she started out the church there, so that she was within 1 of the ambush token there, and she paid 1 power to pick up the Legacy Virus. Well, with Storm walking out of cover, it was time for Dormammu to activate. He used Not of This World, or Not of This Dimension, whatever it's called, his 3 spend to teleport, because 1 medium move was not quite enough to get within securing distance of the middle ambush token. And then for his other actual action, he used a Shadow Bolt, 6 dice energy, with Sap Power and Hex on a wild. She didn't have any power to steal, but he did Hex her, and did 3 damage to her, which is pretty good. He doesn't generate any power off of that, she does, and he is contesting the central ambush token now as well. Everybody's favourite friendo, Colossus, activated, and he double moved in order to get close enough to pick up the Legacy Virus Cure that was over here in the crater. He is not within contesting distance of the ambush token though, but he's tanky, and he can probably take any damage that Clea and Iron Fist throw at him, for now anyway. Second last activation for the Dark Dimension was Clea, and it's a little bit of an awkward placement, but she medium moved forwards. She's meant to be right on the tip of the edge of the crater there, so she is contesting the ambush token there. A little bit squint, but that gave her enough range 3 to do her basic attack. Just generates 1 flat power on it, regardless of damage done or not. Smacked Colossus for 3, reduced down to 2 because of his living metal roll, and that's it. She is contesting and attacking. Second last activation for the Uncanny X-Men was Wolverine, and he also medium moved once fully, and then just used another move just to reposition himself ever so slightly to be close to Colossus there, but still contesting the ambush token. It was pretty much the same deal for Iron Fist as well, a medium move followed by a slight reposition, as he couldn't get close enough to do a flying kick to pull into Logan to contest that ambush token back there. So the last activation of the turn was Rogue, who was behind the destroyed church right there. She's going for the big guy. She came around 2 medium moves, not bothering helping Jean contest that ambush token back there because it's not needed. She has her sights set on Dormammu, and that does take us to the scoring already for Battle Round 1. So at the end of Battle Round 1, there's just 1 point of difference between both sides. The Dark Dimension has 1 legacy cure on Moon Knight. He held on by the skin of his teeth, so that gives them 1 victory point for that. They hold the ambush token that Luke Cage is at over there, and then also Clea and Iron Fist down here for 2 more victory points, taking them to 3. The middle ambush token is contested between Dormammu and Storm, and for the Uncanny X-Men, Storm herself and Colossus both have legacy cures for 1 victory point each. Jean's holding that back ambush token, and then Wolverine is holding this one. So as we go into Battle Round 2, 4 plays 3, and the Dark Dimension retain first activation. So top of round 2, we just have a little bit of business to cover in the power phase. Moon Knight has 6 or more power, so Flames of the Faltine kicks in. He takes 1 damage from that, and that does also give Dormammu an extra power, so it's just as well he was healed because that would have knocked him out. So Battle Round 2 for the Dark Dimension got started with Dormammu, the man himself, activating and doing what he often does after getting to position turn 1. He stays in the middle of the map and unleashes death. He fired a Shadow Bolt into Storm. It did 3 damage, it only needed to do 2, so she is dazed. He then paid 1 to pick up the Legacy Virus that she had been holding. For lack of anything better to do, because he wants to hold that middle ambush token, he fired a second Shadow Bolt, this time at Rogue, and it did 1 damage to her, not too bad. Colossus activated for the Uncanny X-Men. He technically didn't do that much with his turn. He fell back to the ambush token back there, but before doing so, he decided to launch an Angry Canadian at Iron Fist by using, once it's in focus, Fastball Special. So he and Wolverine, as long as they're within 2 of each other, which they were because they were both theirs, they both spend 1. He chucks Wolverine medium. Wolverine doesn't suffer collision damage. Remember, thanks to his adamantium skeleton, he counts as size 3 for the purposes of throws and whatnot. Whoever he collides with rolled 2 fewer defense dice, so poor Iron Fist was only rolling 1, and he suffers bleed, which he did indeed. So he has 5 health on his healthy side, so he is conscious by just 1. But if he doesn't get rid of that bleed during his turn, he's going to get dazed from that. Did feed him a lot of power, and Colossus didn't do much else with his turn, but getting Wolverine into the back line like that I think will pay off. So with being so close to being dazed, the Iron Fist activated, and he used his namesake for a lot of the power he's been sitting on. He used the Iron Fist on poor Wolverine, who took it to the face for 6 of his 7 health. So he is alive on 1 health. Unfortunately though, because he didn't have an activated token, he gains 1, so he isn't getting a turn. And because he hasn't technically activated, I don't think his healing factor would kick in, but I'm not sure if that's how that works. Either way though, for Iron Fist's other action, he got rid of that bleed, so he's going to stay conscious, and he is holding that ambush token still. So you might notice that the battlefield has changed over there ever so slightly, and that's because during Jean Grey's turn there was a lot of plays and counter plays. She eventually just stayed where she was though to hold the ambush token. However, she started her turn by using mental domination, because Moon Knight is within 3 of her just when he was on top of that car. Jean Grey or Cassandra Nova can spend 3 to play this, pick an enemy character within 3, advance them small, and then they make this range 2 physical attack, but you add dice on for their physical defense, so it was a 5 die for Moon Knight. He is just within 2 of Luke Cage, got Luke Cage for 1, it wasn't even 2 reduced to 1, it was just flat 1 damage. And then for her other action, she hit him with a Psionic Bolt. He paid 2 to give himself 5 physical defense, mental defense rather, and he's very lucky because rather frustratingly, he lived on 1 health. He took 2, and with the damage he had from the other turn there, and having too much power at the start of the turn, he's left with 1 health left again. So she spent 3 to pick up the car and throw it at him, and then Brace for Impact came out. So, you know, he paid 1, and he took nothing. So Moon Knight is alive again on 1 health. So Moon Knight activated, and he did end up where you eventually see him over there. He rolled a blank for his multiple personalities, which gave him 1 extra power to play with, which was a problem because if he has too much power, Dormammu's Flames of the Faultine is going to kill him. So he had to do a bit of spending power, because otherwise there was no point in trying to get away. So he spent 4 on Avatar of Khonshu, his best attack, range 3, 7 die Mystic on Jean Grey. She spent 2 for Shield Mine to stop herself being pushed by it, but it has a force to place within one of the targets, so that's why Moon Knight originally, after his first attack, got forced right next to Jean. Got her good though, especially considering she's got 5 Mystic defense. Got her for 4 of her 6 health, I think. So then for his other action, he retreated medium just to try and put himself a bit closer to Luke Cage for defense, and yeah, he got her good. So thanks to Storm being dazed and Wolverine having that activated token forced upon him, the final activation for the Uncanny X-Men in Battle Round 2 is already here. It was Rogue. She spent 2 for charge to open her turn in order to charge next to Moon Knight. Now unfortunately, knew for sure Luke Cage was there to help defend him, but her attacks are range 2, and as long as he's within range 2, he can trigger Too Dangerous to Ignore on a cost of 2 to make him the target. So she started with an Absorbing Strike. He spent 2, he took 1 damage as a result from taking the hit instead of Moon Knight. Not deterred, Rogue tried again, but unfortunately he had just enough power to do it again. So he did, and that time he fully blocked it. And I think she sapped 1 power off the first one, I can't quite remember. And remember, all his damage is feeding power to Dormammu as well. So frustrated with that, Rogue ended her turn by using Mutant Absorption for 2 against Moon Knight. Luke Cage was not able to defend against him, and she only managed to get 1 hit critter wild in the 5 dice. So she sapped 1 power from him, but did no damage. Very frustrating. So Luke Cage gets a turn now, and so does Clea, to take us to the end of the battle round. Clea eventually repositioned, but not before using the Icy Tendrils of Ichthalon on Logan, which was overkill, honestly, considering he's only 2 Mystic defense. Did 3 damage to him, only needed to do 1, so Wolverine has sadly been dazed. And so Luke Cage, to end off the round, he spiked hard with 2 basic 5 dice physical strikes into Rogue, who has 4 physical defense, and she has her Kree Mutant Physiology to reduce damage taken by 1. But first hit, 3 reduced to 2, second hit, 5 reduced to 4, he spiked, and she couldn't do anything about it, so she is also dazed. That was an exceptionally unlucky turn all round for the X-Men there, but let's see what the scores are like. So then about round 2, that was a very nasty round as previously stated for the X-Men. They did get some points though. Colossus still has a Legacy Cure for 1. Jean Grey is still holding the ambush token back there. Colossus is holding the ambush token there. So they gained a total of 3, which takes them to 7. And the Dark Dimension, they have 2 of the Legacy Viruses now. Dormammu has 1, Moon Knight has the other. Dormammu is holding the central ambush token because Storm is unconscious. Luke Cage is holding the one back there, and Clea and Iron Fist are holding that one there. So they have pulled ahead, but only by 1. So as we go into Battle Round 3, 8 plays 7 in the Dark Dimension's favour, but the Uncanny X-Men, 3 of which are flipping their cards, have priority. So Battle Round 3 got started with Wolverine going full rage mode. He spent 3 on the Best at What I Do into Clea, which is the move, and then Adamantium Slash with Wilds counting as doubles. She took 5 damage from that, which is an insta-daze. She's only got 2 physical defense, so it wasn't that difficult, especially because he had Bleeding Pierce on him, on the Adamantium Slash. Then he spent another 3 at Berserker Barrage into Iron Fist. Iron Fist counts blocks, blanks as blocks, because of proximity, and he's a martial artist, but that did not save him. He took 3 damage. I think he only had 2 health left. 1 or 2. So that is a double daze from Wolverine. He's not allowed to pick up objectives when he's on his flip side, but he can still contest as far as I can tell. So he is contesting that ambush token. Dormammu activated, and he was sitting on 10 power after his thralls getting beaten up over on the right there. He spent all of it. He spent all of it on 2 incantations of obliteration. He did the first one on Storm. It did 7 damage. She is just a smear on the table now. She is removed. Let's just lean in there and go whoop, because she is gone. The other incantation of obliteration was meant to do the exact same thing to Wolverine, and normally you'd think it would, considering skulls count in Dormammu's favour, but there was no skulls. And he only rolls 2 defense dice. But didn't matter. The attack roll was appalling. I think it had 3 successes, of which he blocked 2. So Logan only took 1 damage from the incantation of obliteration. If those rolls had been the opposite way around, well, Storm still would have died, probably. Oh no, because if she only took 1, she would have lived. But yeah, Logan did live. Rogue activated and had a much more, I was going to say better turn, but in general this is how good she normally is. She just got unlucky that last turn. She started with activating Southern Hospitality, targeted Moon Knight. Luke Cage once again used Too Dangerous to Ignore for 2 power to make her hit him instead. It did 3 damage reduced to 2, which isn't so great, but it has a throw if you're size 3 or less, so she chucked him into the shipping container there for 1 more damage, hence that third one being there. Then she spent 2 on charge to move her into contesting range of that ambush token, and just did her basic absorbing strike onto Moon Knight, did 2 damage, just needed to do 1. Moon Knight is dazed finally, 3 turns too late. Or 2 turns, sorry. He dropped the leg secure, she paid 1 to pick it up. And because of him being dazed, and Clea and Iron Fist being dazed, it's only Luke Cage left to go for the Dark Dimension this turn. So Luke Cage had to spend his first action to move back into position, and then he did Power Man Punch onto Rogue, who did fully block the damage, but there was a wild. So after it's resolved, he can throw her, and he just threw her away from the ambush token so that he can get that point. It does slow and stun, but no damage to Rogue there. And that does mean that it's just over to Jean Grey and Colossus now. And we can quickly cover those 2 activations because they want to hold those ambush tokens, and Colossus in particular wants to be safe because he's holding one of the cures. So he just kind of backed up and repositioned slightly. Jean Grey's being a bit more aggressive despite being close to being dazed. She's moved forward a little bit. And with that, we're at scoring for Battle Round 3. So the end of Battle Round 3 is neck and neck, with each team just kind of pulling ahead of the other by 1 point and no more than that. Dark Dimension, Dormammu's got one of the legacy cures for 1 victory point. He's holding the central ambush token, and Luke Cage is holding the one over there, which takes them to 11 of the 16 required to win. The Uncanny X-Men, 2 legacy cures in hand. Rogue's got 1, Colossus has the other, and they're holding the back ambush token with Jean over there, and Colossus down there, and Wolverine there, taking them to 12. So they're ahead by 1 point, but as we go into Battle Round 4, the Dark Dimension has once again taken priority. Oh, and I guess we might as well just cover it now. Thanks to power, Clea's taking 1 damage, and I think Iron Fist is as well. Yeah, I think those are the only 2 with more than 6 power. So it was Dormammu who got Battle Round 4 started. However, just retconning the end of turn 3 a little bit, on either Jean Grey or Colossus' turn, Children of the Atom could have just been played. An Uncanny X-Men character may play this card. Rogue was selected. Remove all special conditions from this character, gain 1 power for each one removed in this way. So she gained 2 more power. Just covering that now is not relevant to Dormammu's turn, but just covering that could have happened during either one of the final activations in Battle Round 3. So anyway, Dormammu, he moved using Not of This Dimension. Then he did a normal move eventually to end up where he was, but first he did a Shadow Bolt into Colossus and it spiked. 5 damage down to 4. Sadly he was dazed, so the reason he moved in was 1 to claim this ambush token, and 2 to pick up the legacy virus that Colossus dropped. So Dormammu is now holding on to 2 of them. So for the Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine once again went full rage mode on his flip side for each point of damage on him, and he had 1 sitting on him prior to healing factor, healing it at the end of his turn. Throw an extra dice. He spent a total of 6 power on 2 of his Berserker barrages. First one into Clea, it did 4 damage, and thanks to Flames of the Faltine dealing 1 damage to her, she is done. She is just iced. Now if Flames of the Faltine shouldn't have kicked in because she was flipping her card, maybe flipping happens after effects, it includes a throw if you're size 3 or less, so he could have chucked her into the wall and done the 1 damage she needed anyway, and made it 5 damage, so either way he took her out for sure. The other one he did also spiked against poor Iron Fist, so whether or not he was damaged by Flames of the Faltine also does not matter, because he just got 1 shot, thanks to his defense roll being rubbish. So Wolverine just took out 2 people that he managed to daze last turn, so don't underestimate tiny Canadians. Moon Knight activated for the Dark Dimension. He rolled a blank for his multiple personalities, so that's 1 extra power to play with, of which he used with another 3 to pay the 4 for Avatar of Khonshu into Rogue, and he spiked hard. How hard? His initial roll of 7 Mystic Dice, is it 7 or 6? It's 7. Had 4 crits, so it was pretty bad. 6 damage to Rogue. She is out of there. She dropped the Legacy Virus, he paid 1 to pick it up, and then he fled back next to Luke Cage to protect him again. Also holding that ambush token. I think that might be game there, but let's just play it the rest of the turn. Yeah, just looking at it, it's only Jean Grey to go for the Uncanny X-Men, then Luke Cage for the Dark Dimension, and also if there was a turn 5, which there's not going to be because of victory points, Dormammu can spend the 6 to bring either Iron Fist or Clea back. She can stay there and hold that. She can go try and hold that, but actually is Luke Cage dazed? No, he's not, so it would have been a draw at best. It would just cancel out a point. She can go there and hold that, but there's no point. So no matter what she does, also 1 medium move would not be enough to get over there to contest it anyway. She's not going to take out, well, she might take out Luke Cage, but then Moon Knight is alive. So there's not really anything she can do to change the scoring as it will happen now. So let's go to that. So just to wrap this up officially, Jean Grey, Wolverine, they both generate 1 victory point, taking the Uncanny X-Men to 14. But the Dark Dimension holds all 3 of the legacy cures, not on the same character though, but still, that's 3 victory points alone right there. Plus Luke Cage and or Moon Knight holding the ambush token up there, and Dormammu holding the 1 down here. Puts them exactly on the 16 required to win at the end of Battle Round 4. So that was a fun one, and I think it might be the first Dark Dimension win for the channel, because usually they don't do that well. It was a nice mix. Playing a high threat game with the Dark Dimension just plays to their strengths anyway, but having a bunch of 3 threat characters rather than trying to have like an extra strong person along with Dormammu seemed to work out better, because it's to his advantage for them to get a bit beat him up. If one of them had been taken out earlier in the match, he could bring them back. In terms of misplays, I think Jean Grey should have thrown the car into Moon Knight turn 1. Yes, it would have used Brace for Impact. Yes, it would have done no damage, but it would have burned that card early. The plan for Storm and Rogue, in case it isn't obvious, because the plan was not send Storm to get murdered by Dormammu. The plan was get Storm close to Dormammu, get Rogue to come along, and then Rogue to use Pardon Me Sugar on Storm so that she gets 2 extra dice. That makes Southern Hospitality a 9 dice attack. That could have done a heap of damage to Dormammu. Didn't happen that way because he took Storm out too fast. But that was the plan. Didn't work out, but that's why that was done the way it was. Fastball Special, always fun. Really good card actually. Just it's cheap to use, and you're throwing 4 damage because he counts as size 3, so 4 damage into someone that loses 2 defense dice and gets guaranteed bleed is really, really good. Rogue performed a bit under her usual there. Colossus as well. He wasn't as tanky as I'd hoped. But Wolverine, after initially getting his butt kicked a bit, just absolutely wrecked face, and that was very fun to see. Anyway, I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you soon in the future for more. Until then, ta-ta for now.